falling behind on your mortgage can be terrifying. Here with tips on avoiding a foreclosure in this housing market is Keisha Johnson, housing market mortgage broker. Keisha, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. My pleasure.
All right, let's get right to it here. Explain to us, I know a lot of people know what foreclosure means, or you think you know what it means. Enlighten everyone. What's the actual definition?
Basically, it's when the bank takes possession of your property for unfortunate circumstances where individuals or homeowners cannot no longer keep up with their mortgage payments. So the bank takes possession and then they sell the property. So that's a foreclosure.
They kick you out.
Basically.
How many mortgage payments do you have to miss before the bank comes for you?
It could be, I mean, depends on the bank, right? But we're looking at maybe around 3. You fall behind in your payments. They're going to start to draft up legal documents. They'll still give you a chance to try to catch up. But if it gets too much, then they start to put into process the foreclosures.
So a second mortgage, because it's a term that's out there a lot. Not a lot of people go down this road. If needed in this climate, would you say this is a good idea?
Yes, mainly because of the higher interest rates right now. So if you absolutely have to get to some cash, maybe you need to pay out some debts, maybe it's some sort of a detrimental situation, you want to more or less try to get a HELOC or a second mortgage instead of refinancing your whole mortgage into these types of interest rates at this time.
And extending a amortization is something you think could help as well.
Extending amortization, because you do have the opportunity to do so. Some individuals do, and you want to really speak with your bank to really see what the options are. But once you extend the amortization, it actually extends the mortgage payment. So let's say if you have a 25-year amortization versus a 30-year amortization, that mortgage payment is stretched out over a course of 30 years. So that mortgage payment is obviously going to be less.
What if you're already at 30 years?
There are some lenders that are actually offering 35, some 40. So there are options, and you really want to look into those options. Yep.
My mortgage is up, actually, at some point this year. So my wife and I are having a lot of discussions about shorter-term mortgages, like what the options are. In terms of the short mortgage right now, yay or nay?
I would say yes. Yay.
Okay. The next one is hard. Cutting back on expenses.
Eek.
Yes.
Maybe the toughest thing to do
And what kind of
right?
expenses?
Just if you're extending your expenses, if you're spending too much, I mean, this is the time really, because, the numbers are tight with regards to if you're in a high interest rate and your monthly mortgage payment is high, you want to try to cut back as much as possible so that you could keep up with that mortgage payment. So you're not going out and splurging. Now's not the time to do that, right? So you got to try your best to kind of stay in line with the budget.
And finally, your final tips include what?
The final tips, basically, the final thing that I would look into would be, and this is a last resort, all right, and that would be a deferred payment, all right? And every bank has its own different guidelines. I would say it's a last resort because lenders don't necessarily like that, right? It doesn't look good on your credit. But just like in the pandemic, the banks were giving individuals option to defer that payment, okay? So that you can kind of get yourself in a better situation to get caught up with your mortgage payments. Last resort, as I said, though.
How many can you defer?
It depends on the bank. I mean, some banks, it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months. It highly depends on the bank, and they'll assess your situation.
So don't ignore. Call them and see if you can defer. Don't just don't open the envelopes.
Exactly.
Make sure you're negotiating with the bank on what you can do.
Exactly. And overall, I would say, there are options. So really pick up the phone, call your lender, call your bank, and find out what those options are before you just make a hasty decision. Well, down the line, you find out, I wish I didn't do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keisha, finally, we have 30 seconds. Will it get better? And when will it get better?
I would say it will get better, right? It's all in cycles, all right? And we are estimating, some people are estimating maybe closer to the end of 2023, all right? But you really have to buckle up and ride out that storm.
For sure.
And I'm positive at the end of it, there will be some opportunities again.
Okay, good.
Yes.
You're great. Where can we find more online?
You can find me at RTS Mortgage Financial. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, RTS Mortgage Financial.
Awesome. Thank you for coming in. More